It's great because it sort of has this build to it where they're quite sensible for a while. The Warrens are wandering around going, it might not be ghosts, it could be a skeptic explanation. And as soon as they get in the house, they're like, bad smell, gotta be demons. Hello, I'm Danny Robbins and I make things about ghosts. I wrote the West End play 222, A Ghost Story, and I also make podcasts like the Battersea Poltergeist and Uncanny. And I have now written a book for Penguin called Into the Uncanny, all about the paranormal. And right now I am about to break down some clips about scary movies, basically. So this is from a TV film that I really enjoyed, the Enfield Haunting.
Ain't that just like it? It's gone quiet.
So there they are, in the tie, that's Maurice Grosse, played by Timothy Spall, and then the slightly more dapper one is Matthew McFadden playing Guy Leon Playfair, one of the world's foremost poltergeist experts. It's already got authenticity points because it's based on a real haunting, a haunting that's played a massive role for anybody interested in the paranormal in this country. The Enfield Haunting is probably the most famous British haunting. It's often held up as the best example of why ghosts might be real. So it's an ordinary family in a London suburb, Enfield, experiencing something truly extraordinary, and then two ghost hunters come in, two people who come from the Society for Psychical Research to try and explain what is going on.
Janet, you try asking questions.
What's your favourite colour?
No, Janet. Janet, it's got to be a yes or no question.
Is red your favourite colour?
Janet, I'll tell you what to ask. Ask if it's dead.
Are you dead?
This is really interesting. This is definitely authentic. You know, this is something that came up in one of the cases I looked at for one of my podcasts, the Battersea Poltergeist, that idea of communication with potential paranormal entity through knocking, through bangs. And this stems a long way back, really, right back to some people called the Fox sisters in the 19th century, who were the originators of spiritualism. They communicated through knocks, so you would hear this banging or rapping on tables and on walls. It's the way that apparently the spirit communicates. So here they are talking to whatever is in their house.
Did you die in this house? Where? In that chair?
Oh, Mr. Gross is sitting in the chair he died in.
He doesn't want it now.
And this, my friends, is the moment where this movie stops being authentic. I often talk about the realness in horror. I love to be scared by things that feel real. This movie just cannot resist going into the unreal. There's so much in this case that is genuinely terrifying and could have made such a scary film. And this film gets close to it, I think, but then it just has moments where it can't resist showing its hand and kind of going into the realms of the less real, the kind of more fantastical. It needs to throw people out of chairs. And for me, it's why it doesn't quite work, I'll be honest. I think it's great. It's got so much period atmosphere. It's got beautiful performances by the actors. It can't resist sliding over into something fantastical, and that's the moment where it loses me.
Are you here for me?
Are you here for me? I don't like it.
The other interesting thing in this movie is that you see something here which you do see in a lot of real hauntings, which is paranormal investigators coming in and forming a relationship with the person being haunted. And we often talk about the uncle figure in this kind of case. This kind of old bloke who comes in and says that they can sort out all the problems for the young teenage girl at the centre of the haunting. And there's something just a little bit unsettling and slightly creepy about it sometimes. It's always well-intentioned, and Maurice Grosse clearly well-intentioned here, but you do wonder to what degree he is driving and perpetuating the haunting. You know, in these cases where you have the paranormal investigator coming in, are they feeding this? That's an ethical dilemma in ghost hunting about how much the investigators are giving the whole thing oxygen and feeding it.
So why can't you speak? Come on! Speak! Now you've got me.
Janet, stop it.
Make you wish you'd never been born.
Now, you're probably watching this and thinking, this is fantastical. And it's not, because Janet really did speak with an incredibly gruff, seemingly male voice in this case. It's really disturbing. It is really unsettling. It's one of those parts of the case that feels genuinely quite discombobulating and unsettling. What is going on here? Janet was sent to speech therapists and experts on vocal cords. So that actually, as fantastical and horrific as it seems, is absolutely based on something that did happen in the case.
I'm not dead. I'm right here.
What's your name?
My name is Joe.
And again, you see, this movie frustrates me a lot, really. It's so frightening. The girl's voice is so frightening, and then they feel the need to smash the goldfish bowl and take us into totally unrealistic territory. I would have loved to have seen a movie that really accurately represented the haunting and what was going on in this haunting. Poor old goldfish. It's interesting to consider why Enfield has had this incredible lasting impact. It happened at a point in the 1970s where suddenly TV crews did turn up to your house. So it's very well documented. We've got a lot of stuff on this case and lots of witnesses. But it seemed to capture people's imagination at a certain point, I think. It's something that speaks to us about it. It's very ordinary. It's a very ordinary family experiencing truly extraordinary things. God, I'm really torn here because it is authentic in so many ways. It's beautifully observed in terms of how it looks. It captures that 70s period so well, but they just cannot resist chucking in those fantastical CGI moments. Oh, I'm going to be cruel. I'm going to mark them down. I'm going to give them a 4 on authenticity for that. They had it in their grasp of getting a really high authenticity rating, 8 or 9, and then just too much CGI, too many real ghosts. I love The Conjuring. I think it's one of the classiest, scariest horror movies of recent times. All right, let's have a look.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Hi, I'm Roger.
Lorraine.
Hey, nice to meet you, Roger. Ed Warren.
So this is where the family who are haunted meet Ed and Lorraine Warren, the demonologists. How is that for a job title? So Ed and Lorraine Warren were real people. They wrote lots of books. They are played brilliantly here by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They're just great. And even though these people are potentially a bit dodgy, somehow you just you trust them.
I'm constantly turning up the heat, but the house is always freezing.
Clear sign of a haunting. Cold rooms, you know that's ghosts.
It's not a problem with the furnace, though. I mean, not that I can find.
It's gotten a lot worse the past few nights. There's this awful smell like rotting meat.
It's a bad sign, isn't it? Rotting meat, that means demons.
It moves around the house. What? What is it?
Well, rancid smells could indicate some type of demonic activity.
There you go. Don't want to jump to conclusions at all, but definitely demons. That's what Ed Warren thinks. It's great because it sort of has this build to it where they're quite sensible for a while. The Warrens are wandering around going, it might not be ghosts, it could be a skeptic explanation. And as soon as they get in the house, they're like, bad smell, gotta be demons.
Just like all night long.
Does it come in threes?
Yeah?
Stops at dawn?
Uh-huh. Well, sometimes
This man is an insult to the Trinity.
So within about 2 minutes, they've totally convinced the family that their house is demonically possessed, which of course it is. I mean, it's the right conclusion to come to. It's interesting seeing them leap to those conclusions. Rotting smells means demons. Knocking on the wall 3 times means demons. I feel like they should perhaps assess 1 or 2 of the other options here first and not just leap straight into demons. It is possible that the rotting smell could be that the fridge is broken. The 3 knocks on the wall, that could be mice with a sense of rhythm.
Nancy?
Oh my, holy crap. Holy crap, a girl was just thrown across the living room. I'd forgotten that scene. That is extreme. It's the moment where the Hollywood aspect of this horror movie really kicks in. And in real ghost stories, some scary stuff happens, but you don't have that moment where somebody actually generally physically picked up and thrown right across a room. It's the moment where Hollywood sort of decides that real life isn't enough. You suspect that in the book this is based on, that didn't actually happen. This is a hard one to do because horror movies aren't really intended to be accurate to real life. If you went on an actual ghost hunt, and I've been on quite a few, you won't see somebody flying across a room or being dragged across a room by their hair, generally speaking. So it's not very accurate. I mean, if we're going to give it an accuracy rating, then we're going to have to give it quite low, about 1. So our next clip is from the Paranormal Activity franchise of movies. This is from one of the sequels called The Marked Ones. I'm no expert, but that boy looks possessed. He's got the kind of dark under the eyes that either means he's not been sleeping very well or that he's got demons inside him.
La salud mental, física, emocional, espiritual y le
I am always slightly perturbed by these movies that feature demonic possession, because it does to some point perpetuate that idea of people being possessed. And I think it's quite dangerous when you introduce that into the real world and people start to think that they are possessed or that people they know are possessed. And there is a trend going on at the moment of a rise in exorcisms, not just within Christianity, but also within the Islamic faith as well. And I think Judaism possibly too. There's lots of people deciding that somebody they know is possessed and calling an exorcist. This is often parents worrying about their children. Clearly the worry for lots of us involved in studying the paranormal is that this is people with mental health problems who are being told that they are possessed, and that's very, very damaging. There's a little bit of me that worries about movies like this spreading that and making people think that demonic possession is this real thing.
Just stay back, all right? Just stay right there.
Oh, right, God, we got a night vision now. Okay, so night vision is something that you see a lot in paranormal shows and sometimes in horror movies as well. It instantly flips you into this thing where you can see what is going on in the dark, but it's got this unsettling greenish pallor to it. I just feel it's something that now is so synonymous with those paranormal shows. And for me, it feels a bit fake, I'll be honest. Now I just instantly associate night vision cameras with just a certain kind of ghost hunting shows where you know that nothing much will happen and there'll be lots of screaming, but it'll be all sound and fury signifying nothing. It's an interesting challenge when you've got a movie like this, which is using what purports to be something real, the camcorder footage, and yet has incredibly fantastical things, special effects, CGI. It's an interesting balance and tricky to pull off, I think. And actually the first Paranormal Activity was incredibly simple, incredibly stripped back, incredibly low budget. Obviously, as you make each sequel, you sort of feel like you need to step it up a bit each time, but you wonder, have they pushed it too far? I'll give it a 6, but it's authentic in a way I'm not comfortable with. We are going to finish on a classic. This is, of course, like ending your school disco on Gangnam Style. This is the one that would get the crowd on the dance floor, metaphorically speaking, if there was a horror movie dance floor. It is, of course, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters.
This is hot, Ray.
Symmetrical book stacking, just like the Philadelphia Man's Turbulence of 1947.
Such an iconic movie. I mean, already those outfits, the detection devices, it inspired generations of ghost hunters. This is why people are out there in spooky places all over the country, holding different gadgets, trying to measure all sorts of different things. This is what ghost hunting is all about. Authenticity, already going but this is what started it all.
Raymond, look at this.
Ectoplasmic residue.
Ectoplasm. Now, ectoplasm plays such a big role in the history of the paranormal. There were mediums in the 1800s who used to supposedly produce ectoplasm from their mouths during these seances in Victorian times. It was apparently this thing, cheesecloth, this kind of material that they would pull out. If you look them up online, you can see seemingly ectoplasm coming out of the mouths of mediums, all obviously entirely faked. But that idea that ghosts produce some sort of gunge, some sort of goo, is a really interesting one that's stuck around for, kind of hundreds of years now.
Hello, I'm Peter. Where are you from?
This is one of the movies that set the template for ghost hunting and for our vision of what ghosts are, I guess. This spectral, see-through, floating apparition. And yeah, I get so many people writing to me with these kind of descriptions. So at the moment, Ghostbusters, you're doing well on the authenticity stakes.
Do exactly as I say. Get ready. Ready?
Get her!
And that's scary, right? Come on, it is. It still stands the test of time, I think. We've wanted to hunt ghosts, to bust ghosts, if you like, ever since ancient times. You get people setting themselves up as exorcists or ghost hunters throughout history. It's diving into the greatest mysteries of our universe. What happens to us when we die? Do ghosts exist? You're on a final frontier of not knowing what mysteries are happening in the universe. I would say that this is a movie that has a massive place in the heart of anybody interested in the paranormal, anybody who's ever gone ghost hunting. This is probably one of the inspirations. There are so many people out there doing this kind of ghost hunting, ghost busting now. So, I'll give it an 8. And Ghostbusters, thank you for everything you've done to inspire me and many other people to get interested into the paranormal. Thank you for watching. You can get my book, Into the Uncanny, in hardback, ebook and audiobook. I read the audiobook by clicking on this link below there in the description. And also, don't forget to subscribe to Penguin for more videos like this by clicking on that link there.